So AJ Wilson was interviewed and probably said something that she shouldn't have said.
A'ja Wilson just caught wind that the Indiana Fever is making moves in free agency, and let's just say she's not exactly thrilled. Her reaction? A chaotic cocktail of betrayal, confusion, and maybe even a touch of existential crisis. It was Sue Bird who dropped the bombshell, and A'ja did not hold back. Was it shock? Denial? Or the harsh realization that the WNBA isn't her personal playground? Buckle up. This saga is only heating up.
Takes us to Indiana, which I think everyone agrees right now has gone from, a team that made the playoffs last year, lost in the first round. They were building all these young pieces, of course, Caitlin Clark, to now an immediate contender with all the moves that they've made. I think Natasha Howard certainly stands out. I loved playing with Tosh.
When Sue Bird speaks, the league listens. She came with receipts and the boldness to crown the Indiana Fever as the ultimate winners of free agency. But she didn't stop there. With a little extra flair, she declared them legit championship contenders. The second those words hit the air, Vegas Aces fans were hyperventilating into paper bags. And A'ja? She was not okay. You'd think someone told her basketball was getting canceled altogether.
So Sue Bird is one of the greatest point guards of all time in the WNBA. And she's someone who obviously is a part owner in the Seattle Storm. So hyping up another team is a bit of a conflict of interest, if we're being honest.
Let's be real. Things were already shaky in Vegas. The once dominant super team is now looking around like someone flipped the Monopoly board mid-game. Key players have left, the chemistry feels off, and meanwhile, the Fever have swooped in like they just unlocked a cheat code. But the real gut punch, Indiana snatching Sydney Colson. That one cut deep.
Colson from the Aces. She is 100% vibes. She is 100% going to be a backup for Caitlin. It's going to be fantastic backup for Kelsey. She is a great addition to this backcourt. She has senior leadership. She has championship experience. She is the most fun ever. And Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever front office is not messing around. They are putting everything in place to make sure that this year is a championship caliber team, and every addition it gets better and better and better.
If you know Sydney Colson, you know she's the heart, soul, and comedic backbone of the Aces. You don't just lose a player like that and pretend everything's fine. Her departure? It's like your best friend switching friend groups and suddenly thriving without you. Painful. For A'ja Wilson, it's just one more thing on a growing list that's got her questioning everything. First, the Aces front office makes a few, let's say, interesting decisions. Now her teammates are leaving like the building's on fire.
You got the MAGA Barbie. Look, this is gonna be good and bad for the Fever. And this is gonna be good and bad for CC. Because if CC can't get a ring with the Super Avengers that Kathy and the Indiana Fever has assembled, then...
And the Fever? Oh, they're eating. They didn't just land Sydney Colson. No, they took the Aces vibe, their blueprint, and the very face of the league. They stole the culture, the energy, the essence. Now Aces fans are spiraling like they just got dumped via text. The meltdowns are everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, whatever we're calling them now, are flooded with Vegas fans screaming into the void, conveniently forgetting their team just won back-to-back championships.
What do you mean Sydney Colson is joining the Indiana Fever? What does that mean? Indiana is just being so fucking greedy right now. They took DB, they took Natasha, now they got Sydney Colson. Why would they take Sydney from us?
It's getting serious. How dare you move on without its energy? Meanwhile, Indiana Fever fans are thriving. They've gone from praying for signs of life to watching their team assemble like the Avengers. Caitlin Clark is on the way. The supporting cast, looking dangerously legit. Free agency was a win, and with Sue Bird's official stamp of approval, Fever fans are walking around like they just hit the lottery.
Now the expectations have changed. I'm sure the way they're approaching this season has changed. I think the biggest part of DB joining this team is that she's already played for Steph. So I think that's going to help bridge the gap, because as we go along, we're going to talk about Vegas and Seattle, Atlanta. It's really going to be which
Stephanie
team.
White being the head coach of,
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
Was the head coach of Connecticut, now the head coach of India.
As for A'ja Wilson, she's left trying to piece together what's left of her team while watching Indiana rise as the new team to beat. Look, she's a competitor. She's going to fight. But let's be real, she's not thrilled with how this is unfolding. Who would be? The real question now is whether the Aces can bounce back from this chaos, or if the balance of power has officially shifted. If Indiana Fever really did win free agency, Aja and Aces fans might need to brace themselves for a new era in the WNBA. The Fever have gone from just make the playoffs to let's hang some banners. Rational thinking? Out the window. If you say anything less than Indiana Fever are inevitable, get ready for war. No one was ready for Indiana to go from lovable underdogs to legit threats overnight, and the worst part, no one can even argue with them.
Fever team,
They getting paid anyway?
that are like, no, but players who will be free agents next year. There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
The Fever have leveled up. They've stolen talent. They've set themselves up to compete. All rival fans can do now is glare at their screens, praying that somehow Sue Bird got it wrong. But here's the thing. Sue doesn't miss. She's not just hyping up Indiana for kicks. She knows the game, and she sees what's coming. And that's what has rival fans terrified. Because if Indiana is really about to become a problem, it means someone else is about to be knocked down a peg. The denial is strong, with fans scrambling for ways to cope. They're still young. They haven't proven anything yet. Championship contenders? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But deep down, they're nervous. Every fevered move is now under a microscope. Every game will be scrutinized like it's a finals matchup. Rival fans aren't just hoping Indiana fails. They need them to.
They have Caitlin Clark. They have Aaliyah Boston. They made sure that they re-signed Kelsey Mitchell. That was a big one. They acquired both Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner. They traded for Sophie Cunningham. They still have Lexi Hull. And now they have made a move that is literally my favorite of WNBA free agency. They have signed Sydney Colson, face of the WNBA. If you know, you know. You might look at Sydney Colson's stats and be like, oh, she doesn't really give that much of anything. She doesn't score. She's averaging like 2 points a game. That's fine. The Fever do not need another high-volume scorer. They need a veteran backup point guard who can help manage that offense.
Meanwhile, Fever fans are living their best lives, watching the chaos unfold. They've gone from being the team nobody cared about to becoming the main character of the WNBA storyline. And honestly, they're loving every minute of it. And they should. For the first time in a long time, the Indiana Fever isn't just part of the conversation. They are the conversation.
Love DeWanna Bonner. Love Kelsey Mitchell. But Sydney Colson, the face of the league, to the Indiana Fever. Indy better roll out the red carpet. I swear. I have to get a Colson jersey now.
And speaking of conversations, Aja Wilson just sparked a wild one. After all the free agency madness, she turned around and blamed her own locker room for not winning last season. Yep, the same teammates she'd been hyping up, calling them family, talking about how lucky she was to have them. 1 minute it's all love, the next, it's, well, if my team had actually stepped up, maybe we would have won. Let's be real, nobody expected Aja to take this whole Indiana Fever situation well, but throwing her own squad under the bus, that's next level frustration. The same team she was all smiles with after back-to-back rings is now the reason they didn't repeat. Make it make sense. Aces fans are scrambling, trying to spin this into anything other than what it is.
Yeah, this is damning. It really is. I gotta tell you. You see this quote. Quote, it wasn't a championship locker room. Wow. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Holy smokes. Las Vegas Aces.
Everything was not given, you had to take it. You know, those life lessons have kind of transformed me into who I am now. And, you know, I know that this is not going to be an easy road. I know that this is, I probably took the path of most resistance. But that's what's exciting to me because that's what I've always done and I've always flourished.